You're on a cruise out of Miami. Something happens, a confrontation, a fight, a complaint filed against someone in your group, or maybe you're just standing nearby when it does. Cruise security shows up. Stop right there, because here's what nobody tells you before you book that trip. The moment security gets involved on a cruise, two completely separate battles begin, and most people only see one of them coming. There's the legal battle. What happens when that ship docks and Florida takes over? You can see that one. But the other battle, that's the public story. And it doesn't wait for the legal process. It doesn't wait for facts. Passengers are already recording. Footage is already being shared in group chats. And by the time you clear customs at Port Miami, your name could already be attached to a headline you had no part in writing. I see this destroy people who did everything else right. Smart people, careful people, people who thought the legal case was the only thing to manage. It isn't. I'm Adam Rawson. I'm a Florida criminal defense attorney, and cruise cases are among the most complicated situations I walk clients through. Not because the law is unusual, but because the reputation damage that happens in the first 24 to 48 hours can be just as permanent as a conviction. And it almost always comes from mistakes people make while trying to protect themselves. By the end of this video, you're going to know 5 things. 1, why cruise incidents become public trials overnight and what's actually driving it. 2, what the Florida legal case looks like the minute your ship docks and how fast it moves. 3, what to say and not say to cruise security and police. 4, what to do and absolutely not do on social media and with reporters. And 5, what the right lawyer actually does that goes well beyond the courtroom in these situations. If this is relevant to you or someone you know, save this video now. Every hour matters in these situations. Here's the simple reality of a cruise ship. It is the single most filmed private environment most people will ever be in. Cameras in every corridor, passengers with their phones out constantly. And when something happens, anything, you've got dozens of witnesses in a sealed space, all with footage and a Wi-Fi signal and nowhere to go until the ship docks. There was a case covered by WSVN here in South Florida, a Miami Lakes attorney arrested at Port Miami, accused of knocking out an elderly passenger on a cruise. WSVN got the body cam footage from the arrest. Within hours, that clip was everywhere. Most people watched maybe 40 seconds, and in 40 seconds, they decided they knew everything. But 40 seconds never shows you what happened before the camera turned on. It doesn't show context. It doesn't show what the evidence actually says. The public doesn't wait for context. They see a clip, they pick a side, and they move on, leaving your name attached to a story that hasn't gone through a single day of legal process. And here's why that matters even before you've been charged with anything. Your employer hears about it. Your clients hear about it. People Google your name and they find a headline, not a verdict, a clip, not a courtroom. That's the first battle. And it starts before you even touch land. Here's what catches people completely off guard. The moment your ship pulls into Port Miami, Port Everglades, or Port of Palm Beach, Florida takes over. And I mean same day fast. Depending on what happened and what the cruise line reported, you could step off that gangway and walk directly into a law enforcement situation, questioning, detention, arrest. And in Florida, first appearance, where a judge makes a bond decision, has to happen within 24 hours of arrest. That's happening while the headlines are dropping, while your phone is lighting up, while people are posting in comment sections like they were there. The Minnesota mom story is the perfect example of how this plays out. She was on a Carnival cruise, believed that a teen had attacked her son, tackled someone she thought was involved. By the time the ship docked in Miami, she was arrested. People magazine ran it. It went national. And within days, anyone who searched her name found a version of the story that didn't include what she believed in that moment, what she saw, what her son told her, what actually happened. I'm not here to relitigate what she did or didn't do. I'm here to show you the pattern. Messy, human, complicated facts get flattened into one clean, shareable narrative. And that narrative moves faster than the truth. So if you're back in Florida and this is happening to you, you are running 2 races at the same time, your legal case and your reputation, and they each need different things from you, starting in the first hour. This is the most important section of this video, so stay with me. Cruise security does not work for you. They work for the cruise line. They are building an incident report to protect the company's legal exposure. And everything you say to them goes into that report, and that report can follow you into a criminal case. A lot of people think that because cruise security isn't the police, the rules are different. They're not, at least not in the way that matters to you. Anything you say can and will be used in a subsequent investigation or prosecution. So here's the practical reality. You are calm, you are respectful, you cooperate physically, but you are brief. When security asks what happened, when police ask what happened, this is the phrase, I'm going to cooperate with the process, but I'm not answering questions without my attorney. And then you stop. No explanation. No, let me just tell you my side real quick. No, I didn't mean for it to go this far. Not even an apology that can sound like an admission. I know how hard that is. Good people want to explain. They think if I can just make this make sense, they'll understand and it'll be fine. But in a criminal investigation, we in cruise security incidents become criminal investigations fast. That explanation doesn't make it go away. It becomes the report. It becomes the evidence. This isn't a conversation, it's evidence being collected. When police are actually involved, and they will be if charges are being considered when you dock, same principle. You cooperate physically, you provide ID, you do not resist. And then, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. I want an attorney. That's it. Now, the second front, and this one people almost always mishandle. There's a thread on Reddit's Our Cruise where someone shared their experience as a voyeurism victim on a cruise. Genuinely awful situation. But what happened in the comments section that followed is a perfect picture of what the internet does with incomplete information. Hundreds of strangers, none of whom were there, filled in the blanks with complete confidence. Some made the victim the villain, some made the accused the villain. Everyone had a fully formed opinion based on a post. That's the environment you step into the second this becomes a public story. And the rule is simple. You give it nothing. Nothing about the facts, nothing on Instagram, nothing on Facebook, nothing in a text to friends who might screenshot it, nothing in a DM to anyone involved, not my side, not what really happened, not even a post that says you're stressed and can't talk about it. Here's why. You will not win the comment section. What you will do is create screenshots, and screenshots don't disappear. They become evidence, they become exhibits, they get attached to your name in search results for years. If a reporter calls, your line is this: I have no comment. My attorney will address this through the legal process. That's it. Reporters aren't trying to hurt you. They're doing their job on deadline with the information available to them. That job is not to protect your future, so you give them nothing to work with. And one more thing, don't reach out to witnesses, don't DM anyone involved, don't try to smooth it over quietly or get your story to the right people privately. That's how people accidentally create brand new legal problems layered on top of the original one. Here's the whole game plan, clean and fast. The moment security gets involved on that ship, be calm, be cooperative in your conduct, say nothing substantive. I'll cooperate with the process. I'm not answering questions without my attorney. The moment you dock and police are involved, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. I want an attorney. Then make that call. Online, nothing about the facts. Not one word to anyone, anywhere, in any format. To reporters, no comment. Your attorney handles it. And the fifth piece, get a lawyer who moves fast and understands both fronts, not because you're guilty, because the first 48 hours are when the most permanent damage happens. And most of it isn't the legal case. It's the self-inflicted mistakes people make while trying to fix things on their own. If you've just come off a cruise where something happened, or you're facing charges after a ship docked in South Florida, call Rawson Law Firm. We handle these cases every day in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, and we understand that you're not just fighting a charge, you're fighting for your name. Every case is different. This is general information, not legal advice for your specific situation. But if you want to talk through what you're facing, Rawson Law Firm is ready to answer the call. An arrest isn't a verdict, but a screenshot can cost you just as much as one. Protect both fights from the start. Next week, I'm covering something that is catching people completely off guard. You bought it legally in Miami, you packed it legally, and you're still looking at federal drug charges before you even see the Bahamas. That one's next.